right, y'all. Let's win the day. That's what we're here to do. We got to go win the day. You got to win every day, ladies and gentlemen. We're the people that want to go off and design our ideal life. You got to be intentional and deliberate about winning today. Winning today. There's nothing you can do about yesterday. There's nothing you could do about last week. There's nothing you can do about last year. There's actually nothing you can do about tomorrow. There's nothing you can do about Friday. There's nothing you can do about the weekend. You got to win today. You got to win today. Every day you're focused on winning today. How do you get better in your relationships today? How do you get better in your health life today? How do you get better in your finances today? How do you make decisions that affect the future but living today? It's such a powerful reminder, y'all, that today is the day, right? Right? Today is the day the Lord has made, right? We will rejoice and be glad in it. It's today, right? It's today. So you got to make sure that we are focused every single day on winning today. Again, these are reminders. These are reminders for you. I know you know these things, but very much so as I open up the call and I said, hey, listen, are we doing what we know? I know you might know these things. I know some of these things are things that you play in your mind already. Maybe because you've heard them a bunch, maybe because you just know these are the right things. But the question is, are you doing what you know? Are you winning every day? Are you focused on winning every single day? Some things that you heard in that video. How single minded are you? Are we getting around being single minded? Focus, right? That word focus, acronym, follow one course until successful. Focus. Can you be single minded? Right? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Can you be single-minded? Can you be focused on whatever your goals are, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, whatever the outcome is? Can you be focused? Tony Robbins in there, I think, said the actions might change, but the outcome is what you're going for. I was just coaching a couple last night in the in their finances, and I said, hey, you got to make sure that your visions are aligned. One of the things about being married and dealing with money is your visions have to be aligned with what you want to make happen, the outcomes. Because each of us will have a different path of how to get there. But as long as we can say, hey, is this still the vision? Is that still what we want to get to? Is that still what we're using our money for? Is that still where we want to be? As long as that's the same, then we can then figure out the actions, figure out the course that we got to take. But we got to make sure that the vision is clear, that our visions are aligned. This is what you have to do in your own life. You have to get clear on the visions. How many times have you heard me say it? You got to have clarity on what are we doing? What are you trying to get to? Where are you going? Why are you putting yourself through stress? Why are you putting yourself through pain? Why are you pushing against the system? Why are you not doing everything that the middle class or the people around you are doing? Why are you choosing to go this direction? What is it that is up ahead? Are we clear on it? Because the more our mind can get clear on it, the more that we're able to actually get there, the more we're actually able to manifest those things, right? So we got to make sure that we're single-minded. We got to make sure we're focused. Where your focus goes, energy flows. If you focus on your problems, you're giving energy to your problems. If you're focused on your lack, you're giving energy to your lack. If you're focused on the things you don't have, guess what? You're giving energy to the things you don't have. That means we're going to get more of it. So we got to switch that mindset. We got to say, hey, I'm going to focus on the things I do want. I'm going to focus on the things that I am going after. I'm going to focus on the things that are abundant, that are rooted in love. That's what, if my focus goes there, my energy is going to go there, and that's what I'm going to get more of. It's simple tricks to the mind. Not always easy, especially if we've been programmed or we've been conditioned to kind of do it a certain way. But at the end of the day, that's what you have to do. Creativity, decisiveness, passion. How much are these things fueling your life? How much are these things fueling your desires? How much passion do you have on a day-to-day basis when you communicate with somebody, when you talk about things that are important? How much decisiveness do you have? That's one of the chapters in our book. It's not what we're reading today, but one of the chapters in 177 Mental Toughness Secrets says champions are decisive. They make decisions. They say, hey, this is the way we're going to go. Good, bad, and different. I'm going to make a decision. If it doesn't go the way I want to, guess what? I get to change it. I get to make another decision. But I'm not going to sit in the middle and say, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, not sure. Maybe I wait, need some more information, not sure how this works. Let me figure this out before I get started. That's not decisiveness. Traits of being a champion is you're going to make a decision. People always wonder, why do they pay CEOs and right of these major companies all this money? There's all this corporate outrage and people hate that, people make so much money. It's because they run a large organization and they make the decisions. They make the decisions. It falls back on them. If the company fails, it falls on them. Typically, if the company does well, it's not because of them. It's because of the other things that are around. But they're making the decisions. They're decisive. They're creative. How much are you using your creativity, ladies and gentlemen? I remember a pastor saying this one time, right? Our brains are not meant for storage. Our brains are meant for creativity. So if you're just trying to store things in your brain, if you're just trying to hold on to things, you're not using what your brain is meant to do, which is be creative. Human brain, the human body, right, has never been recreated. We're inspired, right? And we're God breathed. We're right, special beings. So our brains go to work to be creative. How often are you being creative? How often are you using your brain for creativity? Burn your boats. Burn your boats. I don't know if y'all know that analogy, but or that story, anecdote, whatever you call it, right? About burning your boats. But basically, there's a group of people, some pirates, whatever you want to call them. They want to take over an island. They want to take over an island. They bring their boats, they ride their boats up to this island. They jump off their boats, ready to take the island. But before they go to start fighting and take the island, they burn their boats. They burn their ships. There's like, hey, there's no way out of this thing now. We're either going to win or we're going to die. That's just the way it goes. We're either going to win this or we're going to die because we don't have a way to get back. We just burned our ships. That's a metaphor for how we should be living our life, right? That whole, right, have a plan B, plan C. No, that's why we don't conquer things, is because we got to burn our ships. If we made a decision, if we're focused, if we're clear on what we want, then you got to burn your ships. You got to burn your boats. There's no getting off the island unless you win or you die, right? Like that's it. That's it. These are secrets in marriage. These are secrets in business long term. When you have that long term thinking, I remember me and my wife maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, right? Had one of those seasons in marriage. Those of you that are married might understand it, right? You got one of those seasons in marriage where it's not going the way you want to, right? There's a lot of friction. And we had to say and come to the determining factor that we're burning the boats. Like we're burning the ships. There's no way out. We're either going to get better or we're going to die here being miserable. Like it's going to be one of these two things, but there's no out. See, too many times people give themselves an out. They give themselves a way of escape. So when you have the thought process in marriage or you have that thought process in business, guys, if any of you want to be entrepreneurs or you're going that direction, you got to burn your ships. You can't be like, well, I'll do this for a little bit, but if it doesn't, then I'll just go back to that. No, you're just sitting there looking at your ships. So when times get hard, when things get tough, it's easy to go jump back on the boat. But we can't do that. We got to burn our boats. We got to be deliberate and intentional about living today. And we got to make sure that we go out and master the present, right? We got to master the present. In our text, the 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, it says, the world class dreams of the future, yet lives in the present. The world class dreams of the future, yet lives in the present. So important. So important, right? Why? Here, let's dive in and read this for a bit. Here's what it says. It says, my late business partner, Bill Gove, once said, Steve, the only thing significant about the past is how it affects us in the present and the future. It holds no power other than that. The poverty, working, and middle class levels of consciousness have a tendency to be fixated on the past. Their mindset is, if only this or that would have happened. If only I could have done this or that. That sound familiar? Might not be you, but I bet you there's people around you that talk like that. Oh man, if I would have only, man, if that would have only been different. Oh man, if I could have changed that. Oh man, right? All the regrets. It says amateurs are always looking in their rearview mirror, wishing things were different. Instead of learning from the lessons of their past, they assume a victim based mindset and tend to wallow in their sorrow. Playing the victim gives the amateur an excuse for losing. The world class rarely looks back to the past except when they're feeling nostalgic. The pros know the clock is running. The great ones are acutely aware of their mortality. With this mindset, the pro doesn't have time or inclination to look back. The great ones are focused on living in the now. They leave living in the past to the amateurs. The great ones are focused on living in the now. You cannot change the past. It doesn't matter what happened to you. It doesn't matter where you've been. Like, these are not things that are as important as thinking about what is up ahead. Firmly rooted in the present, feet firmly planted in today, winning today, and knowing exactly what's up ahead. You know, the old, right? Again, all these analogies, all these metaphors and anecdotes that we talk about, where it's like the reason why the front windshield of your car is bigger than the rear view is because if you're driving forward, you need clear vision of what's ahead. If you tried to drive forward looking at the tiny rear view mirror, you are going to crash. Imagine that. Imagine you are driving your car, and instead of looking out your windshield, there's mud all on your windshield. You're choosing to look at your rear view mirror and your side mirrors behind you to drive forward. How far would you get? Not far at all. Not far at all. You would, right, literally either stop or crash in a minute because you can't see what's up ahead. Well, this is the same thing in our lives if we're trying to get to a place. If you're trying to get to a place where your life is different, where you've created this life that you don't need a break from, where you have life exactly where you want it, it's so important that you can see the future, that you can see what's up ahead of you. And the only reason you would look into that rearview mirror is, like it says here, to be nostalgic because there was something amazing back there that you got the chance to experience that you're like, man, that was awesome. Or just to look back to see in relation to how far you've come. That's the only reason to look into the past. Otherwise, we're going to keep looking forward by being rooted in the present. That's our focus. That's where your mind goes if you want to design your ideal life. When you start getting around people and you start hearing them talking about the past, talking about the good old days, talking about back then, talking about when they had or what it was like, when you start hearing that, you know that they are not firmly rooted in the present and looking at towards the future. They're probably not aligned with the places you want to go. So we change our language first and foremost. We change our thoughts first and foremost. And then you get around people that talk about the future. You get around people that are firmly in the present, but dream of the future. They talk about their goals. They talk about their ideas. They talk about what could be. They look to the future with optimism and hope and not pessimism, right? These are the people that will inspire you to get your life to where you want it to be. These are the people that you get into community with that help you shape how you think. Again, these are these are little tricks of how we think. If you change your thinking, you change your life. If you change how you view things, if you change your beliefs around things, your life, your outcomes will change. Excuse me. And this is just another example. Too often we're focused on the past. When we focus on the past, it's easy to become a victim. That victim mindset. Again, the more that you're aware of these things, this may not be you. If it is, again, this is why we work through these things. If you have a tendency of thinking about the past or talking about the past or whatever the case is, then this is an area for you to grow and learn and improve and get better. But also just being aware will help you see the people around you and what they talk about. And if you're around a lot of people that talk about the past or the good old, well, then you got to separate yourself from those people slowly but surely. Remember, you're the average of the five people you spend time with. Your environment means a lot to your growth. So, what we choose to listen to, what we choose to consume, whether it be from a person or whether it be from a book or a podcast, whatever the case is, that's getting into us. So, we have to be aware of the types of messages that are around us. And it's too often that people become victims. The poverty, working, middle class levels of consciousness typically become victims. Man, it's my boss's fault. Man, if this government, oh, the president, oh, my city, oh, my parents, oh, that like it becomes this thing of like, I don't have control over this. If this event or this person wouldn't have done this to me, then I wouldn't be here. That's not the life that we live. We say if it is to be, it's up to us, right? If it is to be, it's up to me. There's no victim mindset in us, right? We're not a victim of anything. We're victors. We're not victims. So you got to train your brain how to think of this. You got to train your brain how to see this stuff. Most importantly, you got to get clear on your future. This is where it all starts. The beginning of all the stuff is, do you know what you want? I'm going to constantly ask you that every time, right? We jump on these calls to some degree because I know what that's like to not know. If we don't know what we want, how do we know when we get it? If we don't know what we want, how do we know when we've worked on ourselves enough to achieve the things we want? Like if we don't know where we're headed, what's the purpose of doing all of this work? It's so important. You got to be clear about what's up ahead. If there's, and again, the more clear you are, the more likely your mind is going to lock onto that thing and you're going to go get it. But you got to be clear in your health life, in your faith life, in your finances, in your business, in your contribution to life, right? Or whatever it is that you hold significance in, right? Like fulfillment in, right? You have to figure out what those things are. What are you doing this for? Is it for you? Is it for your family? Is it because of your spiritual beliefs? Like what is it that you are doing this for and where are we going? And the more you can get clear on that and then be firmly planted in the present to win today. Don't worry about winning tomorrow. Don't worry about losing yesterday. Winning today will get you to the place where you want to go. It says here in this text, sorry, it says here in this text, your experience of yesterday should never set your foundation of expectation for what you can accomplish in the future. Yesterday's lessons are the most effective fertilizer for tomorrow's victories. I'm going to read that again. Your experience of yesterday should never set your foundation of expectation for what you can accomplish in the future. I hope we understand that. Like whatever you've been through, whatever experience you had, that's what creates limiting beliefs in us. We think because we've never done it or we've never seen it that it can't happen. But like John Terhune says right here, your experience of yesterday should never set your foundation of expectation for what you can accomplish in the future. Yesterday's lessons are just the most effective fertilizer for tomorrow's victories. The action step for today says, let go of your past and focus exclusively on the present and future. You can do that today. You can win that today. You can literally today. You can do that. You can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to let go of this past. I'm going to let go of whatever happened this week. I'm going to let go of whatever was happening over here. And we're going to continue to move forward in the future. Right. So awesome. I see some notes in the chat. Robert wrote some historical stuff about burning the boats. It looks like it's straight from chat GPT, my guy. No, I'm joking. But it's good information because I love you guys. I care about you guys. Again, we built a community here. I'm super appreciative and grateful for all of you that continue to take in the messages and share it with people, or right, even just jump on and continue to follow along in the journey. Life gets better as we continue to grow, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what I want for all of you. Continue to enjoy your Wednesday. Do something that scares you today, pushes you out of your comfort zone. And I'll see you back here on Friday. All right. Take care. Have a great day.